The show's theme song still leaves people wondering how to get to Sesame Street, a street that allows kids to use their imagination. And for decades, it's tackled various topics. Starting next month, with the help of this character, the show introduces children to autism.
Sunny days sweeping the clouds away.
It's a tune connected to childhood memories.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
On Sesame Street is where kids like Erin Smith learn the alphabet, how to count, and even tough lessons about death.
I think I really liked that they taught you things about the real world so you could learn it in that way.
Starting in April, the show will redefine its mission. Introducing a new Muppet, Julia, who has autism.
I know that song, Julia.
How, if anything, would have been different for you when you attended public schools had Julia been a character when you and your friends were little?
I think they probably would have understood more about autism and they wouldn't be so confused around me. And they would understand why I did certain things. And I think it goes for the teachers too. Like when I went to a public school, people didn't really understand it and kind of avoided me, and the only people that liked me were the people who had it as well.
We're able to touch toys and strawberries and ice.
But now, Erin is among nearly 60 students who attend Academy of Whole Learning.
Anybody else hear music?
It's a private K-12 school for students with autism or related learning differences.
Do you guys see anyone?
Dana Liberty is one of the teachers. She says inclusion is at the heart of this new character.
And I think it's really hard for students with autism to relate to characters in books and relate to characters on TV shows because they sometimes have a hard time understanding their own strengths and weaknesses. So I think giving parents and students such a powerful tool at a young age is really powerful of Sesame Street to do and to offer those opportunities for teaching.
1 in 68 American children have autism. That's according to the CDC. Julia's character, a 4-year-old, is alarmed by loud noises. She doesn't always respond to questions, and when she gets excited,
You're bouncing up and down like a rubber ball.
she leaps for joy. A difference, Smith says, is common for people with autism.
Well, sometimes kids with autism think of things in a different way, so they could get upset by something that people wouldn't understand why they got upset. I think that's really good to inform younger kids about autism because it seems like people are learning more about it. And if younger kids learn about it at a younger age and learn that it's not totally a bad thing, then they'll be able to respect people who do have it.
I think that that's the most powerful thing about this is that Julia could turn into just another character on Sesame Street instead of the character on Sesame Street with autism. And I hope that that's what it can get to someday, that they're just different.
How to get to Sesame Street.
And meanwhile, Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit organization behind Sesame Street, said for years they've received requests to address autism. I don't want to call it an issue. And last year they introduced Julia in a digital form. She was well received, and now she's coming to life.
You guys probably won't believe this, but as a kid growing up in rural America, the first person of color I ever saw was on Sesame Street.
Yeah.
The first deaf person I ever saw was on Sesame Street. The first Latina, Marina, was on Sesame Street. Maria, it's done so much work in this area for kids and for adults. We could probably all watch a little Sesame Street.
And you know what's so interesting? You said the first person of color you saw was on Sesame Street. When that show was integrated, there was so much controversy behind that. Yeah.
No, I loved it because, I mean, I didn't know any, it was just, yeah, it's hard to explain.
I think it's wonderful how you got to speak to those students today and hear that perspective. That's what we needed. So I think they pretty much said it all.
Yeah.
It'll work just fine.
Yes.
Good job.